Dennis was here to mow. He came back over on their way when they're headed out, go back home 100 miles away, and he said when that he had gotten to the bridge down there, he started out on the trail that goes across the bridge, and he quickly said, no, this is very dangerous, because he couldn't see where the path was and where it dropped off the sides, very steep sides. He didn't want to roll over the side and kill himself. Said he had to walk his way through, find where the path is, and mark the edges. That mower is missing a lot. Monarch, look at that, wow. Every time I see that, it reminds me of Forrest Gump. I don't think it was a butterfly they had flitting around. It was a plastic grocery bag flitting up in the air on the breeze and around. I marveled at how they must have done that. Probably computer animated, but I'd like to think they used monofilament fish line somehow and flipped it up from off scenes. Moving into tomorrow and Friday, rain chance of 92% tomorrow and 91% Friday. Oh yes. And we had 2/3 of an inch of rain. Oh, thank you, Dennis. He was also afraid of this bridge collapsing under the weight of a riding mower. A deer fly. What are you doing out here this time of year? All your friends are gone. Well, all right. We've made it to the bridge. You've also seen by now the bee's nest out near where the fire ring is, where I split wood. I discovered that nest back in, I think it was early August, when Josh and Kinsey were here and we were out there, and I just caught sight of these little bumblebees. That's the best I can explain them, flying around lower and lower and walking right into an invisible entrance in the ground under a little leaf. Tiny entrance, just maybe half an inch wide, and you can't really see it very far, just the opening. Yeah, and I watched it, and yeah, at one point you saw 1, 2, 3, 4 bees came walking out and flew off on their mission. A few days ago, I was out splitting wood. Suki came running over to where I was, and she laid down up on that little rise where the brown chair is. Oh, okay, I don't know what that's about, but then she was up and trotting in the driveway, trying to get away from one of those bees that had, for some reason, taken a real interest in her and was continually landing on her and then flying up. And she was rearing back and trying to get it She was frantic. Well, I headed right for the house and I let her in. Fortunately, the bee didn't go with her. But that's the end of that story. I don't know what the hell that was about. But we haven't had any threat from bees at all. And I thought about that this morning. Yellow jackets, that's right. A year ago, this was prime terror season from the yellow jackets. And I couldn't do wood. I couldn't even be outside because they were just... And all last year when that was happening, I thought, is this just the way it's always been and it's just becoming so noticeable now for some reason? Well, no. I've seen maybe a half a dozen yellow jackets all summer, and I haven't seen one now for at least a week or two. Praise be. As much as last summer was a bummer, this summer has been a joy. The weather, the air quality. We've had no forest fires, apparently, up in Canada. If there are any, I have never seen any of the reds and oranges on the air quality map. It's just been, every day has been 15% or a rating of 15, 11, sometimes up in the 20s. But what a joyous summer. It's how I remembered them as being, not full of anguish. That is honestly the word last year. Wanted to be done with it. Just, okay, it's a loss. Let's move into winter where there aren't these sorts of tortures and torments. I'm watching this, the sky, and there are thunderstorms to the northwest, moving ever so slightly toward us. They're at least 50 miles away, and there's no talk on the weather app about it'll be raining in 55 minutes. Let's go down to Otter Pond so you can get a drink of water, okay? You apparently don't want to go in the water here, or don't know how. All right. Remember what it looks like along here in December? Totally open. Not a leaf in sight. I can't honestly say I'm beginning to look forward to it. But I do remember 2 years ago, 2 Decembers ago, we walked down here and we hadn't had any snow of any consequence. That was the winter with very little snow. And we were able to walk everywhere, out on the bog, out on the verges. And last December, we were already hemmed in. Not entirely, though, that's right. We were able to go out and walk on the loop trail. What's all the racket, Ansel? What's all the racket? Aaron. Hello, Colt. Oh my God, okay.
Giving Ansel one of these. The last couple of times I've done dogs, she's immediately picked up her dish and carried it across the run. So,
Really?
Yeah. No, why not?
Hard as a rock.
I don't know what happened to regular Oreos, but
Are they gone?
they got everything under the sun, but not the specialty things, but yeah, whatever.
Nope. Are we having fun yet? I am. I love shopping. Yes, there it is. Vidalias.
They aren't.
Nope. I avoid Vidalias. They rot.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
See, I'm not an onion person. They're yellow. And 95.66.
Don't touch me. Home again, jiggedy-jog. That's what my father used to say when we were kids. Sound asleep in the back seat of the 49 DeSoto, coming home from the family cabin. And the magical transport of suddenly we're 100 miles away from where we were when I last knew, because we were asleep the whole time back. Be awakened to that sound. Home again, jiggedy-jog. Then he added on a year or two later, like a big frog. Let's let Suki out. Okay. Okay. I'm as bad as a kid in a candy store. Went to the library. I couldn't resist. Well, this one was an impulse. They had it on display, and I've also got 2 other books I've ordered from other libraries. They'll probably be in tomorrow. I'll have to get my button gear.